sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Monday, April 22nd, 2024. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Going pretty good. Haven't been on for a while. Had some stuff going on Thursday and Friday, but we're back. I didn't do too good the last time we did picks. I went. It was a Wednesday. I went 3-5.
Yeah, I didn't have. Oh, I have to look. But I didn't have a real good day either. Oh, look here.
How's it going, Big
I'll
Glenn?
get that pulled up here in a second.
That was a pretty good NASCAR race yesterday. I watched it. I forgot about the IndyCar, though.
It's definitely better than the fucking Pacer game.
Oh, man. Hey, Glenn shot a video. There's nothing to worry about, Pacer fans.
Nothing to worry about.
What is that?
Yeah, I hope they. Hope there's nothing to worry about. But we got to shoot the ball a hell of a lot better than what we did in that first half.
Yeah, I agree.
Got to play some better defense too, and I think I don't understand why the hell we have T.J. McConnell trying to guard Lillard. But
yeah, I agree with you. There's some other fans was talking about that online. Yeah, hopefully, Pacers have a better game. What Tuesday night, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good. I thought. Well, I saw the race was pretty good.
Yeah.
Which Talladega is usually pretty good. Let's see. I knew it wasn't. Can't remember 3-5.
Yeah, it's the same way, huh?
I knew I didn't do very. I knew it wasn't a very good day on Wednesday, but I can't remember exactly. I've done good in hockey, but I sucked in everything else that day.
Yeah.
Especially baseball. I went 0-3 in baseball that day.
Yeah.
I don't do that much.
Speaking of baseball, what about our Reds? Got a sweep over the Angels. Yeah, it was over the Angels.
Yeah, but looking pretty good. Bounced back big after a disappointing series in Seattle where they got swept.
Yep, most definitely.
De La Cruz was on fire over the weekend.
Well, we're 12-9 in 21 games. A couple interesting things. We've got 38 stolen bases, leading the league, and 9 of those are third base that we've stolen. Almost on a record-setting pace for stolen bases.
De La Cruz already has 10.
Yeah, something like that. Isn't it? I think so. Yeah, five home runs, 6 home runs, something like that.
Yeah, because he was the first player to get the 5 home runs and 5 stolen bases. And after this weekend, he's at 10. I think he's the first player to get the 10 stolen
I
bases.
think he's got another homer too. I think it's 6. I think he's got 6. I think. Yeah, he's on fire right now. And
Spencer Steer's been playing real good as well. He's still, I think, probably been our most consistent player.
and we've got one of our guys. McLean done for the season.
There's a chance he might come back. They're hoping to get him back. But
he was one of our pretty good stealing bases too, and we don't even have him. So they're an exciting team to watch. Hopefully, they can just get consistent. That's the main thing. Win series, like you said before. Win series, be consistent.
you can't be getting swept. I mean, it's a long season. It's going to happen. You're going to get swept once or twice throughout the season, probably. But you can't be getting swept like.
Well,
often.
One of the big keys is you don't want to go on big losing streaks. You don't want to lose 7, 8, 9, 10 games in a row.
And they've, for the most part, avoided that so far. They just need to, I don't know. Pitching hasn't been terrible.
No.
I think it's starting to get a little more consistent. Or hitting hasn't been. We've been scoring quite a few runs. We just go through spurts where we'll go through a couple games where we just couldn't hit the ball.
Have you heard anything on the pitcher that got hurt yesterday?
No, I haven't. I do like that. Was it Martinez? He's been coming in and giving some good innings. Chewing up some of the middle innings when if the starter don't go deep. I thought he's pitched real well like his last couple times out. If we can get a couple guys to do that,
yep.
I think we can make a deep run. Glenn, we already know you'll be betting on the Cubs when they do play. You'll be betting on the Cubs. We know how Glenn operates. I did want to ask you something. Like we didn't get to it on Thursday or Friday. Like one of them days I was going to ask you. And I don't think they play their first playoff game of the day.
Vegas.
Yeah. What's this about them cheating the system?
They do it. I talked about it already the other day about them guys. They get players and then they put players on reserve.
How's that legal?
It's legal because they've done it the last 2 years.
Yeah, but,
maybe 3 years.
But yeah, and they're not the only team that's done it. Don't get me wrong, but to me, that's basically cheating.
Hey,
you're
not cheating.
You put all
not competing.
You put all these guys on basically like almost like injured reserve, I guess, injured list or whatever. So then, the way I understood it, then their salaries don't count.
Yeah. So
then you can bring in these other players.
Yep.
And then now you can bring them players back.
Yep.
That makes no sense.
They don't to me either, but they've done it and they're allowed. They're allowed.
So now they have to be over the salary cap, right? Because do they have to release players?
I don't know. Maybe they take them off the roster.
We'll say the players that they replaced one guys with, that they had to release them to bring guys back, or
I have no idea. I just know that. I know that it's. I think the third year they've done it. I know the second year for sure, but I think it's the third year.
That sounds like an awful shady way to try to make sure that you're healthy at the playoff.
Yep.
And I'm not like I said, I know Vegas is the only one, aren't the only ones that do it. I had to say something about Vegas because that's your team. Yeah. But the more I heard about that, it was like, that's crazy. That sounds like that'd be something they'd be like trying to put a stop to.
I know, but they this be like I said, at least the second year, and I think it's the third year they've done it. So I mean, Dallas is the favorite to beat Vegas. So we'll see.
Yeah, hypocrisy. They are still in baseball, man. Them guys, there's like Ohtani. Well, even with Ohtani, most of his salary, he don't even get most of his salary to like 2034 before most of that new contract he just signs before he gets hardly any money. He gets the way they got it set. He gets like all the money later on.
I was going to ask you about that. Glenn brings it up. NXT is doing their next pay per view, PLE, in Vegas. We're at that place that UFC does their shows, does their fight nights. They're doing it there, and they're offering because it's not as big venue. They're offering special packages that include meet and greets and all this food and all this type thing. And these packages probably going to be pretty expensive packages, but I don't know what that place holds. But I have no idea. But sounds pretty cool.
I don't know how many people that UFC Apex sold.
I like WWE is thinking outside the box and doing different things. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Blah, blah. I don't know a whole lot about that venue, Jones. I know that like when you watch it on UFC, yeah, they don't have hardly any fans in there at all when UFC does stuff at the Apex. Yeah, it's not real big, so it's definitely going to cut down the crowd size.
Yep.
I wonder, is that something they're going to do all the time, or is it just?
No, I think it's just something they're. I think they're trying testing. But I did see.
I was saying I saw interviews where Triple H had said that there. It was actually with Logan Paul. Logan Paul asked Triple H if there was going to be like UFC guys going to WWE and competing. If there'd be like WWE guys going to UFC and Triple H said, "Oh, I don't know." He goes, "I'm not saying that won't happen." He goes, "That could maybe," but he said the thing I think that is going to. He goes, "One thing I know that is going to happen. We're going to do stuff where they do like a whole weekend, and like maybe on Friday you'll be SmackDown, Saturday might be something with UFC, and then you know what I mean, like taking over a city for like 3 or 4 days for the whole weekend with WWE and UFC events." So maybe this is kind of just like a start thing to see how some of that might work.
And like I said, I mean, doing it in a smaller venue, like I said, the packages include meet and greets, all kinds of different things. They may get a pretty good penny for the prices for those. So it sounds interesting. I did have a question since our hypocrisy's on here, and I haven't even said something to you about it. But last night, the main event of AEW, of course, Swerve Strickland ended up winning the belt. Not that it was a bad match. It wasn't what I thought it would be. I thought it would be a better match, but not that it was terrible. But their production has to get better with AEW. I think their production is lacking. And then also, see, if Hypocrisy thought the same thing. But I thought the celebration would be bigger. They had the remember when they did the big cage match and it was lackluster. It looked like sparklers coming out of the corner. Well, they had the graffiti come out, and it lasted maybe 3 seconds, and it just wasn't. It wasn't what I thought it'd be. I mean, nobody came from the back, and maybe he didn't want nobody to come from the back. I know he went over to his family and stuff. I just thought him being the first ever AEW champion of color, I thought that it would be a bigger thing, and I was expecting more of the celebration. I'm glad Swerve won. I think he's deserving. I think he'll do well, but I don't know. It was very lackluster for me.
Yeah, I didn't see any of it. So I watched the Pacers get their ass kicked, and then was playing some MLB The Show with Austin and them. But yeah, I haven't, so I didn't see any of it. So I really can't.
Yeah, I just thought it was lackluster. Maybe it was just me.
See where the Broncos traded for Zach Wilson?
They did.
Yeah, I saw pop up this morning.
Maybe. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, their production, some of the camera angles, they miss shots. I mean, big things in the matches happen, and they don't get it on. They even showed one on replay, and they barely even had it on replay. It just, I don't know. Their production leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion.
And some of that production, I mean, don't get me wrong, I ain't ever done it on that level, but just like, and maybe with me when I'm like was running cameras and trying to cut from camera to camera, I'm also still doing usually 2 or 3 other things too. I'm still doing commentary, so I'm not. So yes, there's times I'll realize that I'll be watching the match instead of watching the monitor with all the cameras. You know, what I mean, to try to be ready to switch. So, but doing a show like that, I mean, that should be that person's only job. You would think is cutting from camera to camera. You wouldn't think they'd have, you know what I mean, because they have a lot more people doing it. Yeah, but I mean that's something. If you're running the cameras like that, when you're cutting from camera to camera, it ain't easy. I mean, you got to be right on top of it because and you have to have anticipation too, kind of you know what I mean. Like you kind of got to know where you think they're going, so you can kind of anticipate which camera to go to a little bit, and which at that level you would think you'd have a good cameraman, but sometimes you're at the mercy of who's running the camera too, because sometimes there might be something going on, and you might want to switch to another camera, but that camera's not
there,
not where not on the person like you think it would be. So, yeah, there is I'm sure there's a lot that goes into that because just on the small scale we've done when we've ran 3 or 4 cameras, I can see some of that stuff because hell, there's times I was wanting to switch to a camera. Well,
they're not there.
Yeah, well, I gotta stay on this one because the other 2 guys, I don't know what the hell they're doing. There might be a camera pointing up here. Or,
It depends on your guy. Yeah, especially with some of the guys that we've had. Yeah,
you just never know.
I'm sure hypocrisy that production is a bitch. I'm sure you're right about that 100%. But my thing is with the money budget they should have and the people that they're bringing in doing production, you should be bringing top notch guys in. And I just don't see the production getting better. I mean, it's been 5 years now. I mean, I know, and I see WWE's production getting better and getting better. Of course, they've changed course and got new people, but I think that, he spent a lot of money on wrestlers, and that's all fine and great. But I think you got to do across the board on everything. At least be consistent with it. Yeah, I thought the pay-per-view was pretty good last night. I thought that they could have took a couple matches off of it and could have made a really good pay-per-view. But I just think 10 matches is too many. And then you have 3 or 4 on a pre-show. About 5.5 hours with the pre-show. But yeah, I think you're right. Communication's a big problem there. And I'm hoping for big things for Swerve. I'm a big fan of Swerve Strickland. So hopefully things go well for him.
Said it was way too long.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you got it's not over at almost midnight, and you got people. It's a Sunday night, not a Saturday.
And I think that's a true statement. I think that's a lot of the AEW's issues is communication.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that.
Well, what do you think about these NBA playoffs so far?
Well, love that the Lakers lost. Sucks that the Pacers got their ass kicked. What do you think about the Knicks? Can Knicks be dangerous? No, it's only one game. I
think they can win this series, especially because Embiid's not healthy. So, but I don't think they're going to make like a deep run. Especially, they're not the healthiest team either. They lost Randall, who's one of their top guys. I know in the playoffs the last couple of years he's hasn't played real well. He's done great in the regular season and kind of cooled off a little in the playoffs, but still that hurts you some depth wise. I think they have a chance against Philadelphia. Like I said, the main reason is because Embiid being hurt, Embiid being not healthy, but I don't see him going too much farther after that. I think honestly, I think whoever wins between the Pacers and Bucks will beat them. If the Pacers beat the Bucks, I think the Pacers could beat the Knicks. If the Bucks beat the Pacers, especially if Giannis is healthy, I think the Bucks will beat the Knicks. I think they can get out of the first round.
Was you surprised that the Pelicans give it was OKC, I believe it was, as much trouble as they did?
A little bit, just because of Pelicans losing Zion. I mean, not having Zion in that game, and who knows how long he's going to be out. So I thought OKC would probably win game one. I was surprised a little bit that they lost. Pelicans are a pretty good team, but like I said, without Zion, I thought that because he's. I know he hasn't been on the court enough, and he gets shit for that. But when he's on the court, dude, I mean, he dominates a lot of times. I mean, he can play. It's just he just ain't been able to stay healthy.
Other people give WWE hell for being predictable. That was the most predictable thing. Everybody and their brother. If anybody was shocked that Jack Perry showed up last night, I can't say what I want to say, but it would have to be something.
It kills me because people like with not just WWE and wrestling in general, but I think they do a lot. I see it more in WWE. They'll say they're predictable, but then when they do something and nobody expects it. Then they're all pissed off. Oh, that was the stupidest thing ever. They should have never done that. Nobody saw that cut. Well, do you want them to be predictable, or do you want them to surprise you? Yes. Or I mean, you know what I mean? It's either way.
I figured, yeah. I thought you were drone buying a scapegoat shirt. Yeah, I've been seeing your new tagline about the scapegoat. So.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like they say they don't want it to be predictable, but then if WWE goes a totally different, or not just WWE, any wrestling goes a totally different direction, then people get pissed off about that. You can't please everybody.
There were people that was excited that TNA this weekend brought back Matt Hardy, but then I seen some other people on saying they're done. You bring back Matt Hardy sucks. They're done. If that's their big thing, you can't make.
No matter what you do, there's going to be some backlash to it. There's going to be some people that aren't going to like, especially when you're in the entertainment business. You're going to have people that like what you're doing, and you're going to have people that don't like it.
I think Hangman will be back soon, and he's going to be right in there with the Bucks and Perry. I think that's going to be the new heel group, I believe.
All right. Well, NBA for tonight. We have 3 games tonight. First game is Magic and Cavaliers. Cleveland won game 1. Which I think this is going to be a real close series, especially with some of the injuries the Cavs have. But Cavs winning game 1, I thought was big for them. I'm going to go with the Cavs to win tonight's game as well at the -5.5. I think Orlando's they're a young team.
I think the experience factor is going to be a big deal.
And I kind of think I think we saw a little bit of that with the Pacers last night. As much as I really hate to say it, I think that was some of it. We had a guy travel to kick off the show to kick off the game. You know what I mean? Up and down. You know what I mean?
I'm worried.
That's like elementary stuff. You know what I mean? So I think we showed a little bit of nerves there in the first quarter of that game, and I think Orlando showed a little bit nerves in the first game of that playoffs. They could bounce back tonight and win because they're not. Orlando's a good. I mean, they are a pretty good young team, but I'm at home. I'm gonna go with the Cavs. Knicks Sixers. I'm gonna go with the Knicks at the -5.5. And a lot of that is I don't know. I can't trust how healthy Embiid is and if he's going to be able to play a whole game and how effective. He was effective for most of that game. Then he re-aggravated that knee and he tried to stand there and play, but hell, he was just basically a jump shooter from like 15 feet. He couldn't. He didn't have no explosiveness no more. And without him, I just don't see the Sixers doing much. Then you got the Lakers and the Nuggets, and I'm taking the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets are going to sweep the Lakers like they did last year, except this year it's going to be in the first round of the playoffs instead of the Western Conference Finals. Nuggets. Oh, that's even changed a little bit. I get that 7 now instead of 7.5. So
I know it was 7.5 earlier. I didn't do any
and
NBA.
that's what the spread was for Game 1 was 7 points, and Denver covered that.
It just seems to me, watching last year's series and watching regular season and then the game the other night, it takes everything the Lakers can to stay up with them, and then it almost seems like to me they run out of gas. It seems like Denver wears them down.
The Lakers have to play almost a perfect game to beat them, beat the Nuggets. Where the Nuggets don't have to. They can be a little off and still be there.
I'm not putting you on the spot. If you had to pick right now, some people, but every team's played a game now. I think. Who do you think is going to win it all?
Nuggets.
My pick too. That's who I picked last year.
But I've been on the Nuggets all season.
That's who I picked last year.
I think Boston. I know this is. I mean, it ain't like this is breaking news or stuff, but I think Boston has the best chance of beating them because Boston is deep. I still don't. You just see some mental breakdowns with that team. It seems like sometimes, especially in the playoffs over the last couple of years, like you'll see Tatum go through. It's like he's not even on the court sometimes. It's like he should be your number one option. He don't even touch the ball. And I thought Denver done that some last year. You didn't see that in Game 1. Jokic, he's like here. He kind of took over that game especially in that third quarter. But yeah, I think Denver's going to be the team. I think they're going to repeat. I think Boston could. I just don't. I'll be honest with you, Glenn. I don't trust that Boston coach yet. If they just still had their other coach, I probably would. I think they'd have done better last year in the playoffs for one if they still had Udoka. And I mean, they definitely probably would look a lot better right now. That Missoula hasn't been able to get the defensive commitment out of them guys like Udoka had. Udoka had the Celtics playing a better lockdown defense. It seemed like, where now sometimes just Celtics get out. But I think it's probably going to be the Celtics and Nuggets in the finals.
Let me ask you, what team in the West do you think, if there's a team in the West, to beat Denver, who would you give the best shot to? I've got a team in mind.
I know a lot of people would say OKC because OKC tied with them for the best record.
I think that experience factor is too big.
I'd probably have to say the Timberwolves.
I think the team that if they're healthy, to me, would be the Clippers.
Well, the only reason I'm not saying the Clippers, I don't think Kawhi's playing tonight, or tomorrow, or whenever their next game is. I know he didn't play the first game. Yeah, if the Clippers were completely healthy, because last year and
I'm not saying the Clippers are going to beat them. I'm just saying that's the team I thought got the best chance.
Phoenix has the offense where if they could get going, they could play with about anybody, but they haven't been healthy and everybody on the court at the same time very often. So that's another thing that worries me a little bit about Phoenix. Did you do any NBA?
I didn't do any NBA.
Then we have the NHL playoffs. I know some good good NHL playoff games this weekend to kick off the playoffs.
Yes, it was.
That crowd, of course, I'm gonna forget where it was. Was it Montreal?
Montreal.
It was one of the. It was one of the. It was one of the Canadian teams. Can't remember what, but they were showing. I didn't see the game, but they were on McAfee's show and on another thing. They were showing that crowd, and they were talking about how crazy that building was. I'm about positive it was one of the. It was one of the Canadian teams.
Maple Leafs probably. Toronto probably. They're usually pretty crazy. Was it all whited out? White shirts?
Yeah, it was a whiteout.
Probably Maple Leafs.
That place was crazy. But there's some good NHL games, and I think these are all game ones, aren't they?
Vegas is, I know. Kings in Edmonton, I believe it is.
Maple Leafs and Bruins is game 2.
So is Islanders in Carolina.
Oh, there's 4 games tonight.
Yep.
I missed one.
What'd you miss? LA?
No, somehow I missed the Islanders and Hurricanes.
Oh.
Okay. But first game, Maple Leafs at the Bruins. Boston won the first game of that series.
Yep.
Tell you what, I think the series is going to be a battle, but I'm going to go with Boston. I'm going to go with Boston on the money line at home to get this one. But I do look for Toronto. See, it couldn't have been the Maple Leafs, the game I was talking about, because that would have been they're in Boston.
Could have been the Canucks last night. Vancouver. Could have been Vancouver. They played last night.
I can't remember who it was. For some reason, it's skipping my head. Edmonton.
They played tonight. Could have been Winnipeg, maybe.
Maybe it was Winnipeg. I think it was Winnipeg. I don't know. Anyway, Bruins will not lose this year in first round.
They lost last year.
That's what Billy says. The Canucks. And then, so I'm going to go with the Bruins. I didn't give out a pick for the Islanders and Hurricanes. I'm going to take the Golden Knights against the Dallas Stars. I think this is going to be a good series too, but I like Golden Knights on the money line.
Real quick, I think it was Winnipeg. They played that Colorado and beat Colorado yesterday, 7-6. So I bet you it was that. I bet you it was the Winnipeg Jets.
I think it was. And then I'm going to take the Oilers, Edmonton Oilers at the money line against the LA Kings. So I'm going to take the Bruins, Golden Knights, and Oilers on the money line.
Okay, my NHL picks, I've got Boston at home money line against Toronto. I have Carolina at home money line against the Islanders. I have Vegas money line on the road against Dallas. And then I have Edmonton at home money line against the Kings. That's my NHL picks for tonight. Canucks do look good.
And then Major League Baseball, I'm going to go with the Brewers to +1.5 at the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'll go with the Cincinnati Reds at the +1.5 at home against the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Rays at the +1.5 at home against the Detroit Tigers. And I'm going to take the New York Mets at the +1.5 on the road at the Giants. So I'm going to take 4 underdogs here, but I'm surprised. Like the Rays being a +1.5 run underdog to the Tigers don't make a whole lot of sense to me. The Mets have been playing some good baseball. That kind of surprised me that they're where they are against the Giants. The Reds and Phillies, if you look at the records and at the teams, they've been pretty comparable. And when they played earlier in the season, I think the Reds won that series 2 games to 1, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
It was, but I mean, that series was kind of back and forth, and then Pirates got off to a quick start, and then it's kind of simmered down a little bit. And this Brewers team has been hitting the ball a lot better than I expected from them. They usually are more of a team that survives on pitching, and they've been putting up some more runs this season than what I expected. So I'm gonna go with the Brewers at +1.5 as well.
Okay, my Major League Baseball picks for tonight. I have Cincinnati at home. I'm going to take them money line at home. I think they're going to beat Philadelphia. I'm going to take Atlanta money line at home against Miami, and I'm going to take Minnesota money line at home against the White Sox. That's my baseball picks for tonight.
All right. Well, do you have anything else for today?
No, I think I'm good to go. We got a big show tonight. We didn't do a GWR last Monday, but we're back, and Marcus is back from vacation, so I'm sure he'll have some stories for us. He went down to the microtorium there in Tennessee to see the micros, and he'll have some stuff for us, and we'll be talking some TNA and some AEW and some WWE, and also another topic that we're going to broach on is some people think wrestling is not for everybody. We'll talk about that a little bit.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at Gonzo Sports Room as well. If you're in the Indianapolis area and going to be at the PopCon this weekend,
Yes.
come see us. We'll be there with WCWO.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah. So that should be fun.
Yes.
And then
Looking forward to it.
like he said, join us tonight 6:30 for GWR.
Oh, we're also going to have the owner of FEW on with us. Can you remember his name? Because I'm having a brain fart right now.
When?
Tonight.
Oh,
Alex.
Yeah, Alex.
Alex Bolton will be on tonight. Did you forget about that already?
No.
Yeah, you did. Alex will be on with us tonight to promote their show they got coming up this weekend.
Oh, I knew all along.
Yeah. And you remember we got one tomorrow too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you don't.
I remember the one tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
I am not going to lie. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, Alex will be on tonight.
It was just Alex.
Alex will choke you.
But no, join us tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for GWR. We appreciate everybody watching, and we'll see you guys tomorrow right around 3 o'clock.